Hey there. Thank you for tuning in to We Talk Raw Radio with special guest David Britt, tennis superstar, inventor, and co-founder of SPIIDER GRIIP, the most sought-after phone grip out today. David is also a musician based in Charlotte, North Carolina. Check out David today on We Talk Raw with host Terry Hudson. Be sure to catch David's latest hit, Fire, on the rBeatz app and all your favorite listening devices.
Welcome to Local Music Somewhere here on the rBeatz network on rBeatz.com. I'm your host, Terry Hudson, here at Local Music Somewhere. I'm a author, coach, connector in the music industry, and my guest in the studio today is David Britt. He's a singer, he's a songwriter, he's an inventor. Many things going on. His songs have been used for some great causes. He's even written for a movie soundtrack, and we'll cover it all today, including the phone accessory that he invented that will change your life. So make sure you stay tuned for the whole program. And welcome, David Britt. Welcome, David.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here. It's an honor and a privilege.
And we've known each other a while, again, through social media. I can't believe we've never met, and I've never been in the venue with you. And we even... we just found out before this that something you didn't know, but we both actually been in a wrestling ring at some time or another in our lives. So
Small world.
Between that, and you have such a diverse background of music too, because I mean you have some things that are country, some things that to me are kind of roots oriented, some things that are pop. You even have some classical touches and some blues touches and everything in there. How did you even get started?
Good question. When I was a little guy, 3 years old, my parents got me in violin. So I played classical violin and bluegrass, most of my childhood.
Which is one of my favorite instruments.
Oh, okay. Such a beautiful instrument. Yeah. Violin's just is gorgeous instrument. And so, I kind of took a hiatus from playing for a long time because I became a national junior tennis player, and I was traveling all over the country.
I had forgotten that about you.
I've been everywhere. So from 10 years old until I was all the way through college, and I played a little bit after college. I was heavily involved in tennis, so I'd pick up the violin every once in a blue moon. But really back in 2010, in that time frame, I'd written a few books. So I'd written a couple children's books, one book on tennis for parents. And I started wanting to write, music. And I didn't know how to play the guitar. I got hooked up with a guy named Gray Brewster. He, kind of showed me some chords. And I said, listen, I've got these songs in my head. I want to write them. And I want you to play the guitar. And then eventually Gray started a new band. He's like, I'm not going to have time to do this. He goes, go ahead and start playing that guitar. So I started playing it, taught myself how to play. And Gray introduced me to Jason Scavone, who's been my producer since 2010.
Yeah, well-known guy.
And, fast forward 3,000 plus songs later and soon to be 10 albums after next year.
And what is
it's
it,
been
like
a wild ride.
30 releases I think you've done as far as singles, 30 more?
I've got over 160 releases.
Wow.
And
I'm
9
really behind
albums.
the times.
Oh, man, I've got a lot of them out there, man. I tell you, it's funny because sometimes I'm like, did I write that many songs? Yeah. But they're out there, and it's been a blast. But I've had some fortunate things happen to me with music that kind of helped propel my career, and people find out about me between Jimmy Johnson, the NASCAR driver, promote my music, a song I wrote about him.
Everywhere, yeah.
He did that back in 2012, and so many NASCAR fans found out about me. And then, of course, the Oak Ridge Boys, I wrote a song about them, and
great guys.
They shared that song, and I mean, the amount of people that I met because of those individuals, I will never be able to say thank you enough to all of them.
And music is such a great connector. I had somebody text me that meme the other day that says, where would I be without all the people that I met through music? You make so many friends. And it's not that they just, a lot of people make music, but things don't just come your way because you happen to make music. Things come your way because you use your music to get out there. And it's not only a great connector, but you have to have this entrepreneurial spirit.
Yeah.
And of course, I have 3 or 4 things that are connected to my name, and that wears me out. But then I'll sit here and listen to you between tennis and author and songwriter, singer, and now inventor in the last couple of years. You are involved in a lot for sure.
Yes, sir.
But you have not you've not just sat and rested. You've done things to get your music out. You just didn't write them and sit in your home studio and hope that one day that somebody would hear these. And this is one thing that I tell artists. It's not like the older days where somebody's just going to discover you. And it didn't really happen then. The media made you think it happened then. It might have been a rare case. But all those guys that I knew, they were very entrepreneurial.
Yes.
They were not going to take no for an answer. They were spending their time knocking down doors and trying to get people to hear. And they would listen to people that had done it. You have to be willing to take advice from other people. And you were talking about the Oaks when you were just saying they were kind of your mentors as well, weren't they?
They have been literally since 2012. Just the greatest guys in the world. Joe Bonzel obviously just passed away recently.
I was just going to say, we just lost him this year.
Yeah. And he was like a second dad to me. But between him and Dwayne, they listened. I don't know how many songs over the years they've listened to. I mean, I'd shoot them things that I hadn't, studio recorded yet. What do you think about this? The amount of knowledge I've gained from both of those individuals and just the friendship and the brotherhood.
They're genuine people.
Everyone in that group, their families, their wives, their kids, everybody, their grandchildren, they're just the salt of the earth people. I can't say enough good things about them. And so I'm so thankful that, that God blessed me with those friendships. And I'll never forget Joe. I told my mother, I was like, he's been gone since, I guess, it's been a few weeks, July 8th or 9th. We talked on Father's Day, which was wonderful. But I forget he's not here anymore. And we communicate so much. And I'd send him, hey, Joe, here's what's going on. Or something funny. We might text back and forth. And it's hard to realize he's not here anymore. Because I pick up my phone so many times and I want to text him. And I'm like, David, it's just, it's tough. But he left, a mark on this earth that few will ever, be able to do like that. All those guys.
Usually an artist has a shelf life of 5 years. Those guys went on for decades.
They'll live forever.
Yeah.
And
Timeless.
They've touched so many lives. It's incredible. You go to one of their shows, you see a baby there, all the way up to people who are 100 years old.
Oh, yeah.
They have touched so many lives.
They started in gospel. That's how I
and every
met
artist
them.
loves them.
I started off in Southern gospel, the quartet music way back in the day. So it was my first music experiences when it came to management, when it came to radio promotion and all that. And I was sitting in with their record company one day, and we were talking about things you have to do as an artist. And he told me, he said, the way the Oaks operate, if they do a festival, a fair, or whatever event it is, that promoter has a thank you letter in their box or in their email within a couple days.
Doesn't surprise me.
I don't know if they just write it on the bus while they're there, or they have the office do it, or how they were doing it, but that was something that they were known for, as their follow-up.
Well,
and that's a huge entrepreneurial thing.
Gosh.
You have to follow up. You have to take care of the people that are taking care of you. They were great at that. You're great at that, too.
You're very kind. I appreciate that. I try my best. I always want to make sure I give credit where credit's due, and thank the people out there who've helped me, and try to help those who are coming up. There's anything I can do to help them. But when you see the artists out there that recognize the Oaks, Blake Shelton, Taylor Swift, like Tim McGraw, Garth Brooks, it's unbelievable the people that the Oaks helped coming up.
Yeah.
It's fascinating. Everybody, it's amazing how many people that they were involved with over the years.
We were talking about the wrestling thing a little bit. That's the way it works. It's like you are supposed to take care of the next guy. You're supposed to take care of the guy you're in the ring with, but as you're about to leave the business, or you're mentoring people that are coming up, but they actually win the match against you on your last match because you're putting over the next guy.
Talent,
and it's such a valuable lesson for musicians to learn. You're not in a silo. You can get much more done if you have the right group around you, and your opportunities are as big as your circle.
Exactly.
And if your circle has influence because you've brought value to the table, wow. You're going to make some great things happen, and great things are going to happen to you.
I completely agree.
So on your music.
Yes, sir.
With your writing style, how do you get your ideas?
That's a good question, too. I could be literally walking out to my car. I could be in the car with my kids. I could be in the middle of the night sleeping and wake up. I just had these things pop in my head. And, there could be some event going on in the world that, some of my songs have been centered around because it's in the moment. It could be, a relationship. It could be, something a variety of different things. It could just be some kind of mood hits you, and I'll hear tunes in my head. And I've always been like that. And I will write songs. Sometimes some of my best songs I've written in 5 minutes.
Wow.
And I'll just be walking and I'll hear it in my head. I remember a song that actually got me my record deal back in 2014 or 15. I wrote a song called To Hell With Your Love, which most of my songs are really sweet and kind and funny or whatever, romantic. And this one just hit me. And I was at Freedom Park.
Great place.
And I was walking around the lake. I wrote that song in one lap around the lake. I called my producer up. I said, I think I've got a really good song here. I want to record this. That song right there was the lead track on that album back, whenever it was, 2014, 15, whatever. And I wrote that song in literally under 5 minutes probably. Now, I've had other songs that have taken more out of me that I've had to really, pour my soul into. Sometimes songs about my kids are like that. I've written some songs about them like that. But it just really depends.
And you have a lot of fun with your kids. I tell you, you guys go to some great places.
We have a good time together. They make the job of being a parent very easy. They're the two greatest kids in the world. So, nothing but amazing things to say about those two little ones. But they're not little anymore. But
yeah, I was gonna say.
Well, my daughter's going to college next week. My son will be starting high school in a few weeks. But they're wonderful kids. And so, yeah, so whatever really kind of strikes me, it could just be something I'm going through. We all go through tough times, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So you go through things. Sometimes the greatest outlet is song and writing. And because the way my little brain works, I don't really stop. And so I use songwriting as a way for me to, okay, I'm handling a purchase order for SPIIDER GRIIP, or I've got to take a call with the manufacturer. I overextend my mind for a little bit and I got to grab my guitar. I'm going to get some chords down. I think I've got a song here, and it helps me release things.
Oh yeah.
It's just a great outlet for me.
Right. It's a distraction. And that's a big help with anxiety. If you get distracted and you come back, it's like that dissipates.
Yes.
Yeah. It's a technique. So I can see how that would work with music.
Yeah.
And you have used your music in such great ways. You've drawn attention to many philanthropic charities, situations that you've worked with. And you were doing one annually. Are you still doing that?
Yes. So during COVID, it didn't happen, obviously. I've had a couple years where the last time I did it was we formed it around the 4th of July parade. I performed at it, I guess, 2 years ago. Did not do it this year. We're going to have it probably in the spring of 25.
Okay.
It's called Singing for a Reason, and it raises funds for pediatric cancer research. And all the funds go to the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia. Mm-hmm. In honor of one of my high school friends, her son, who's got an operable brain tumor. So that was why I started that event. And we'll be getting back into session with that next year. It's been, honestly, it's been tough playing out, which I used to do quite a bit. It's been so hard with the company because I'm just doing that all the time. But I've been in this studio. I'm actually going back in soon. I haven't not been in the studio since last December, which is crazy, but I'm actually going in a couple weeks.
I thought you were going to say last week.
Normally it would be that way.
You just released so much material.
Yeah, I just haven't I've been writing, but I've got a new song that's going to be on my 10th album, but I'll be recording that here pretty soon. But I've tried to use my music in a good way. I obviously, I'm not kidding anybody. I'm not a Billboard artist at the moment. But a lot of people know me. A lot of people know my music, and I've got friends all over the world now because of it. So it's been neat. It's led to some great relationships that have kind of morphed over into business and things like that. But I've always tried to figure out a way that I can use my music in a good way, whether it's raising money for cancer research. I wrote the theme song for Gretchen Carlson's book, Be Fierce, which helps benefit the Gift of Courage Fund that she started to help women. So I've tried my best to do things good with what I have. And, I'm not making millions off my music, but I know I've touched a lot of lives with my music. And that, to me, that's the most important thing possible.
Well, music itself, the value has changed so much since, it's just how it worked. When there were certain physical elements to it, it had a greater value because it was physical from just a financial point. And then it changed to where it became more like air, or digital. and it changed the value of how, as far as the price, not really the value, but the price of how much it cost to actually get it. But
Correct,
that
yeah.
music itself creates so much opportunity and so many things around it that the value is still huge. And there are artists, they'll look at certain streaming numbers and not realize how other stuff works around it, and that this is the catalyst for all the other things that they're going to make money for. It's just a different environment. It's a different way that's sold, but the value right now is probably bigger than it ever was.
I agree.
Because
it just works differently than it used to.
It opens so many doors. And somebody like you, and we're going to talk about this here in the second half, is it led to so many relationships that when you invented this particular product, like I said, we'll talk about it here in a little bit.
Sure.
When you invented that, there were doors already open, and people that already knew you that helped propel that, quite a bit.
Sure.
And one of the things with entrepreneurship, when it comes to music, I tell artists all the time, this is one of the things I say all the time. I understand when you watch shows like America's Got Talent and American Idol. I have friends. In fact, I've had the casting producer for American Idol on the show. But I have friends at these shows, great shows.
Mm-hmm.
But just as important is you need to be watching Shark Tank and shows like that, because those are the real questions that are going to come with your music. What is your demographic? Whether it's a sponsor, a record company, the new forms of record company, booking agent, whatever it is, what is your demographic?
Yeah.
Like, do you really understand the teeth of your demographic? That it can't just be a male, between 18 and 35, for instance. It has to be there are different males between 18 and 35. They have different likes, and you have to have the ones that fit a lot of what you're doing. It also has to do with, the valuation of yourself as an artist, the company, and
correct.
How you're going to present that, and what is your marketing strategy. And those come from shows like Shark Tank, and that is how you get your music out there.
That's right.
It's not just you record a great song. And as artists, I'm a singer too. I just have been more on the business side of it.
Yeah.
But how good you are,
correct,
for the most part, and you believe that should just be obvious.
Yeah.
And it's not. You still have to get in front of people.
You've got to be in front of people.
You just don't go out there and you shine to the world. It's just not how it works. So understanding those things are important, and you've understood that. And the other thing that I appreciate about you is I've had songs with charities too, where I've worked with different artists. And I was talking to you a little bit about this on the air. You have had songs that have fit specific charities, or you wrote something that was a charity close to your heart. You were not just trying to fit something that you had into something where it didn't, a company that didn't fit or a cause didn't fit, just to try to get that attention.
Correct.
You were trying to be of service.
Sure.
You were not trying to capitalize on something. And it's a big difference. I've seen that work both ways.
Yeah.
And the heart really matters.
It does. And I think when you go into something and you have the right intentions, things can work out really nicely for you. If you're going in and you're trying to fit a square peg through a round hole where it doesn't really fit, and you're doing it for selfish reasons, things don't work out as well.
Right.
Like I said, that's why I always just try to go the route of, I'm going to do this for the greater good, and because it's something I believe in, but I'm not doing it. Let's see if I can capture the attention of whoever. That's not me.
And people know that about you. And I think that's been another factor with you, with how the doors have opened, is you have a strong likability factor. And when you're looking at artists, this used to not matter as much.
Yeah.
But these days, and where everything has to go and getting people in the doors, likability factor is a key.
Yes.
It's a key in businesses. It's a key in music. It's a key in speakers.
Exactly.
Even some authors. It's like you have to have something that draws people into you so that they look at your product.
Absolutely.
And
you've got to recognize it every time, whether you're on TV, radio, Facebook, whatever it is, you're representing your brand, your name, your family. And so you've got to remember that when, today, everything lives forever. Yeah. The internet lives forever. And just always, choosing to be above board and do the right thing and just realize you're representing your brand at all times.
That's great advice to artists out there. It's great advice. We're going to take a quick break to talk about our friends and our sponsors. And when we come back, we're going to get into the entrepreneurial inventor side of what David Britt does. So we'll see you in just a few moments.
Sounds good.
Hey there, I'm Annalise, host of What's Trending Now on rBeatz.com, bringing you this week's DJ World Beats hottest trending bangers on rBeatz Radio and Media Streaming Network. Let's get right into it. Black Box Theater presents Pulse, Experience Music Festival, a 2-day event on Saturday, August 31st at 7 p.m. and Sunday, September 1st at 3 p.m. Must be 18 or older. You can get tickets at blackboxcharlotte.com. Joshua Bassett is coming back to the Fillmore in Charlotte for the Golden Years Tour on Tuesday, August 13th at 7:30 p.m. Tickets are on sale now at livenation.com. Have you been walking down a boulevard of broken dreams waiting for Green Day to go on tour again? Well, you're in luck because they're coming back to the PNC Music Pavilion on Monday, August 26th. Doors open at 6:30 p.m. and you can get your tickets at livenation.com. Trending now on rBeatz Radio, our house and EDM stream, we have DJ World Beats brings you Hannah Mons featuring Gangsta Boo with their single Big Mama, Becky Hill, Multiply, Nick Taylor, Echo, and Hannah Lang, I Need It More. Hitting hard on our classic rock and country station USA Heroes, we have Cody Jinks with his single Change the Game. And spinning now on We Global Radio, we have Asul Lee, Go Low, Papa J, Hard to Find, and Strawberry on Ice by Emerson and Davido. That concludes this week's countdown. Be sure to check back for what's trending on the local, national, and international music scene on rbeatz.com.
Hey, music lovers, prepare to have your mind blown by the freshest beats around. Whether you're a seasoned raver or just someone who loves to feel the rhythm, we've got something special for you. Introducing Only Bangers, Hits Different by rBeatz Radio on Spotify. This isn't just another playlist, it's a carefully curated collection of the hottest tracks that are guaranteed to elevate your mood and get your body moving. Curated by DJ World Beats and friends, Only Bangers is packed with tracks that'll keep you dancing all night long. These are handpicked by some of the best DJs in the world. Imagine the sickest drops, the most insane bass lines, and melodies that'll have you hooked from the first beat. You won't be able to resist the urge to move, to dance, to lose yourself in the music. It's like the soundtrack to the best night of your life, playing on repeat. Each track is a gem, a banger that will make you want to hit replay over and over again. And here's the best part. rBeatz Radio knows what you want. A Spotify playlist for your listening pleasure. No fillers, just thrillers. Imagine having access to the best music anytime, anywhere. So why settle for mediocre when you can have the ultimate listening experience right in your earbuds? Thank you for sharing the love, and thank you rbeatz.com for bringing the heat. With Only Bangers, you're not just listening to music, you're experiencing it. You can also head over to rbeatz.com and rBeatz on all your favorite listening devices and download the free radio app. A 6-pack of 6 genres, carefully curated for you. Whether you want to search for Only Bangers, Hits Different by rBeatz Radio on Spotify, or download the app on all your favorite listening devices. Trust us, your playlists will never be the same again. Hit play, feel the energy, and let the beats take over, because with Only Bangers, every moment hits different. So what are you waiting for? Dive into the world of Only Bangers and let the music take you on a journey you'll never forget. Catch you on the dance floor, and thank you for sharing.
Welcome back to Local Music Somewhere here on rbeatz.com. And remember to go ahead and hit subscribe so you'll be informed of everything that's coming up. Today on the show, I have singer-songwriter, inventor, entrepreneur David Britt. We're talking to a lot of artists out there that we're just letting you know the importance of entrepreneurship, and this is a great guest to have for that. Not only has he used entrepreneurship to get his music out there, he actually has an invention that he's done very well with. So we're going to talk to David right now about I'll just let you even tell him the name of it.
All right. Well, it's called SPIIDER GRIIP, and that's SPIIDER GRIIP. If you don't see the double I's, it's not the real thing. We're based here in Charlotte, North Carolina, and made in the USA. SPIIDER GRIIP keeps your phone in your hand and not on the ground.
You know,
is that a plug or not?
that was one thing. I was looking at the slogans. I think it was the grip that don't slip, or that won't slip.
Yeah, the phone grip that won't slip.
Yep. And what was the other one?
It's all about the grip to freedom. We got 14 registered trademarks.
Well, I think that comes from maybe even being a fan of wrestling. That was something that they do so well. They have those slogans, whether it's can you smell what the rock is cooking?
I know.
Or woo, or whatever.
That's right.
They say it, and then they have it on a T-shirt, and it's out there, and those slogans do stay in your head. So
They work.
I love that you had done that with the product.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit more about what it is, and let's start with even how you came up with the idea.
Sure. So 2017, a good buddy of mine was in New York, and he walked into the restroom of the restaurant, and another gentleman, I guess maybe he was startled, but he was on the phone and dropped his phone. And of course, the one place you never want to drop your phone. And so my buddy called me that night, and he told me what happened. And he's like, I've got an idea. He goes, we need to create some device to keep people from dropping their phones. And, at that time, there just wasn't anything out there other than, the obviously the leading competitor in the field is pop sockets. And it's just more of it's like a circle. You kind of put your fingers around, but it's something it's not something that would actually keep your phone in your hand.
And you definitely don't want to sit on it.
No.
When his phone's in your back pocket.
Correct. And so we were like, what could we come up with that would allow you to hold your phone naturally, without, holding it oddly and just holding it like this where it wouldn't come out of your hand. And so after we talked, he said, start trying to come up with some ideas. And so I got out a piece of paper. I started, drawing images, studying how people held their phones, talking to folks, and looking at the natural curvature of people's hands. Nobody walks around with their hands straight out like this. So they naturally kind of curve. So I want to have something that when you walked, you didn't have to hold your phone held you. And so we started out some things like that. And, our families would get together, we'd share ideas and stuff together. It was really a neat experience. And lo and behold, I had a very dear friend of mine who was a patent attorney at one of the world's largest firms, Brian K. Leighton Paisner.
A good friend to have in this case.
Yeah, and that ended up being the company and the firm, I should say, that has represented us since day one. They've been amazing, and we've got over 50 patents worldwide now and 14 registered trademarks. And it's been quite amazing. What's happened in the last few years. We launched in the fall of 2019, and we've got some great partners. Obviously, locally, Alan Tate is one of my main partners. Our families have been friends for decades and decades and decades, all the way back to our fathers. So it's been so wonderful having him involved, and just got a great team of people. Obviously, through music connections, actress and producer Kate Bosworth, writer and film director Michael Polish, Mr. Worldwide Pitbull. I mean, we've got lots of great partners who are partners of the company, and so just a great team. And we've had so many wonderful people who've been so supportive. I mean, even the Oak Ridge boys, we go back to them. I mean, day one, even before day one, they were already helping me promote SPIIDER GRIIP day one. And so it's been a neat experience. We've had some fortunate things happen for us. We became the first ever presenter on America's Big Deal, which was
that's
on
what I was
USA
asking about, because I remember you were on the show. And, and what was that network again?
USA.
Oh.
Yeah, which is owned by NBC. So we were the first ever presenter there. Joy Mangano, who invented the Miracle Mob.
They made a movie about her.
Boss. Oh, it's one of my favorites with Jennifer Lawrence and Bradley Cooper.
It is a great movie.
So we were the first ever presenter on that show, sold out live on air. It was the most amazing experience ever. The Dawson brothers from pro wrestling were my guests, on that skit we did, and I mean, it was amazing. So we went from there. We got live on HSN after that. We just signed our vendor agreement with Lowe's Home Improvement Stores.
I saw that. So
we're embracing every single minute of every single day, because even though we've been around for a few years, you're still technically a startup. It's still a climb.
Yeah,
and
because you might have been around since then, but your ascent did not just start there. I mean, you're walking on the ground for 2019, and you're trying to get the wheels going and everything after that. So there are relationships that have to be made. There are plans, improvements. I don't know if it always looked like this, but it's very sleek and it's got a distinctive look, because you'll see something that could be similar, but it's not. That's because of how the design, SPIIDER GRIIP is. So was that like that from day one?
It was.
That's usually not the case.
It's not. I think we got lucky, and I say this because my buddy and I, who took this whole idea on years ago, neither one of us are engineers. We come from different backgrounds, and so when I was really kind of nail this thing down, because I'm not an engineer, I thought about it differently. I thought about it from just a practical standpoint as a phone customer myself. I have a phone. How do I want to hold it type thing. And so we went about it a lot differently. We wanted to make sure that it rotated 360 degrees, propped up as a stand. We wanted to make sure it went in your pocket. So we beveled the edges so it lay down flat. We wanted to have something different. And, as far as the design goes, we have the original, which is obviously the little, SPIIDER GRIIP and the logo, which my daughter, when she was 12, she drew that logo, which is hilarious.
Wow.
But and then we have an XOXO design, which is some of the other colors that Kate Bosworth actually designed those, as well as Michael Polish. So it's been a neat process. The whole thing has just been one of those things that has been the most fulfilling of my life when it comes to bringing something to market. It's a really neat thing.
It's a great business lesson too, because you said you're not an engineer. You don't have to be. What you have to do is you have to look for a need, like what is missing. What is missing?
That's right.
How can that be solved?
I agree.
You solve somebody's pain, you can find people around you to help do the other stuff.
That's the thing here. It's like, I had a friend who introduced me to, designers and engineers. Initially, we worked with a group up in New York called Brownlee Design, and, they're really a design firm. And then we transitioned down to Inventus, and Brownlee was great, but Inventus is here in Charlotte. And we got connected with them, and they're the ones who brought this to life. Just amazing. Inventus partners were, they were amazing. They still work with us to this very day. We've got other things that are going to come out in the future, but you've got to surround yourself with people who are a lot smarter than you. I always say that I'll try my best to do that. But when you do that, if you put a team together, you can do anything. I mean, you just got to get the right people around you.
I'm a believer in that old adage of if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room.
I've never been the smartest person in the room. I never will be.
You don't want to be. There's too many people with too many different skills. They can do the things and be the hands and feet for the things that you're trying to do.
Yeah.
In the same way that you serve them, they can serve you.
That's right.
And with coming up with something like this, to get it out there, to spell it different, that was a genius move too. And in fact, speaking of that, what is the website for the product?
So we're www.spidergrip.com, and that's SPIIDERGRIIP.com. And we also, all social media. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on X now, we're on TikTok. Everything is SPIIDERGRIIP. You can say I probably say that quite a bit. It kind of rolls off the tongue pretty easily.
You've been on a few shows. I didn't even know to today of all the podcasts that you had been on as well.
Yeah.
I've seen you on TV shows.
I love doing them.
Even being on the pro wrestling podcast, which was,
that's cool stuff.
Yeah,
those guys
really
have been so supportive. It's amazing how supportive they are. Yeah, Arn and, oh my gosh, JR and Eric and Paul Bromwell and Conrad, everybody. It's just, we've got a great group of people who've been so supportive.
And that's an area they definitely understand marketing. Let me tell you, they definitely understand.
They're brilliant.
So before we go into your music, what's next for you?
Next for me is from a music standpoint, I've got my 10th album is going to be called Fire. That's the name of the album. And so my lead track is also called Fire. And so I'll be recording that. We'll start in a couple weeks. I don't know how long it'll take us to get that one done, but we will be starting in a couple weeks. So that's the next thing on the music horizon, or if you want to call it. And
that's Jason.
Jason Scavone.
Shout out to Jason.
Shout out to Jason. He's like a brother to me at this point. But we'll start recording that and kind of get that nailed down. As far as SPIIDER GRIIP goes, right now we're focusing on a huge Amazon campaign that we just started. We literally just launched last week with our partner Zon Labs, that's based here in Charlotte as well. They're doing a phenomenal job. We just started this campaign on August 1st, and so we've been going for however many days, 8-9 days, and the response has been overwhelming. It's incredible what's going on. So we're real excited. And then, of course, with Lowe's, we're focusing on that as well, and so excited to be partners with them and hoping to hopefully get in stores with them maybe Q2 of next year. So that's kind of what's next. Other than that, taking my daughter to college next week for her freshman year, and not looking forward to that one. but got that going on, and just trying to hang out with the family as much as possible and do my thing.
Well, while I got you here and I'm able to sit across from you, and we're not just on social media, I have to tell you, it is always great to see great things happen to somebody who's such a nice person and who has a great heart for what they're doing. So,
thank you. Likewise. And congratulations on everything. This is awesome.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So we I believe we might take a really quick break, and when we come back, we're going to have David playing his actual music. So make sure you stay tuned.
This is David Britt, and this is my song, If You Got Love. Success, it ain't defined by a dollar. There's more to life than counting paperbacks. That house on the hill and the car that you're driving, well, it don't make you any better than the rest. But if you got love, you're rich. If you got love, that's what it takes. If you got love, 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 then that's enough. If you got love, go ahead and smile, 'cause it can go for miles and miles. If you got love, 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 then that's enough. I've had my share of ups and downs. I've had my pockets all full of gold. Whoa, 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 whoa. But I would gladly trade all of that to be flat broke and lost in love. Whoa. 'Cause if you got love, you're rich. If you got love, that's what it takes. If you got love, 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 then that's enough. If you got love, go ahead and smile, 'cause it can go for miles and miles. If you got love, 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 then that's enough. Love is sweet, soft summer nights. Love is looking into your lover's eyes. Love is family, love is friends. Love is hearing a newborn baby cry. Said if you got love, you're rich. If you got love, that's what it takes. If you got love, 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 then that's enough. If you got love, go ahead and smile, 'cause it can go for miles and miles. If you got love, 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 then that's enough. Said if you got love, you're rich. If you got love, that's what it takes. If you got love, then that's enough, yeah. If you got love, go ahead and smile, 'cause it can go for miles and miles. If you got love, if you got love. Said if you got love, if you got love, 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 if you got love, then that's enough, yeah. If you got love, then that's enough. Thank you.
Thank you very much. If you got love, that was David Britt, and be sure to go check out everything he's doing. Such an incredibly nice guy, such a great artist, and just a brilliant mind. And thank you very much for tuning in. As you know, we love what you're doing as local artists. We love you as music fans. Make sure you keep tuning in with us here at rBeatz.com, and much love. See you next time.